Now we go continue with our boss of the collective agreement database, and the collective agreement database, we call it COBRA. COBRA is because it's a nest of snakes. So it's not an abbreviation, which usually is the case for a European project, but COBRA is just a snake. And the COBRA database is a big database full of complex snakes. Gabriele will explain more about it. In the meantime, if you like to have questions, post them in the chat box as usual, and we keep on answering you ongoing. You will see that many people of our team will do the answers, so feel free to pose your questions as well. You can do it in any language, because as you will hear soon, we have many interpreters in our team. And Gabriele, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Pauline. I will share my screen for the presentation. So here we go. So for the ones who don't know me yet, let me introduce myself. My name is Gabriele Medas. I joined WageIndicator back in 2016, and I'm currently the manager of the collective agreements database. So in this short presentation, I will give you an overview about the WageIndicator collective agreements database, starting from some actual numbers. I will explain basically who we are, what we do, and how the database works. So the database, the WageIndicator collective agreements database, was established back in 2012 and is currently hosting more than 1,750 CBAs from 67 countries all over the world. So the agreements are collected and annotated according to a coding scheme with around 800 variables, and then are published in the WageIndicator national websites, all in national languages. The agreements are annotated according to 11 main macro topics and related sub-questions. A key element of the database is represented, of course, by its team, which is composed by skilled multilingual professionals. So currently 10 people are involved within annotators and researchers. I have calculated that 13 languages are spoken at the mother tongue level. But of course, each annotator of the team is capable of managing multiple languages. So what is the process of annotation about? Basically, we get the documents, the CBAs, in different formats. Can be JPEG, PDF, scan document, etc. Most of the times we get the CBAs from social partners, meaning trade unions or employers organization, but we also get the CBAs from national archives. We use an optical character recognition software in order to transform the format of the CBAs into a Word document, which will be furtherly transformed into an HTML navigable text through an HTML editor. Then the HTML is uploaded in our system, which is called COBRA, as Pauline was anticipating. And then COBRA is a system where the actual annotation takes place, made by the coders or annotators. So questions are answered and closures are selected about the following 11 topics, which are social security and pensions, training and apprenticeship, individual employment contracts, job security, sickness and disability, work-life balance arrangements, health and medical assistance, equality and or violence in the workplace, working hours, schedules, holidays, days of leave, of course, wages, which is a very important main topic of our questionnaire, and then the recently added main topics, which are workers' representation and conflict, and new technologies and green clauses. So here we can see a print screen of our system, COBRA, where the annotators actually annotate the CBA, the agreement. What is it about? What is it about? Basically, it is about answering the questions, as you can see at the right side of the slide, but also select the relevant part of the text. So here we can see how the CBA looks like in the national website after has been coded by the annotator. So we see the headings on the left side, and on the right side we can see the analysis made by the annotators. So in the national website is also possible to compare the clauses of the CBAs. So basically it is possible to select, to filter one or more questions, one or more topics, to select one or more countries, and to select one or more industries, one or more sectors. As I previously mentioned, we currently have a coding scheme with around 800 variables, but the questionnaire is in continuous evolution, of course, and is changing, is evolving according to the findings coming from the CBA's analysis, of course, the annotators as researchers' inputs and insights. We always have an eye on the projects ongoing or the pipeline or potential ones. So we also see what are the most relevant topics emerging in the public debate, like remote work, Industry 4.0, or the green transition. And of course, we improve our coding scheme according to these elements. So here we have an overview of the project of the WageIndicator database. So in the past, we have developed several living wage and decent wage projects in Africa, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. While in Europe, we have developed already projects regarding CBA, the analysis of CBAs, for example, in the case of BARCOM in the commerce sector, or in the previous Colbar project, we analyzed all the CBAs in all sectors in the EU. As per the current project, of course, BARCOVID, as Guido was talking about previously, we are working also on Eurofound CBAS database. We are working also on a project that focuses on natural language processing techniques, and also decent work and living wages projects in the garment sector in Indonesia, and garment and flower sectors in Ethiopia. As per the future projects in the pipelines, we have already bar metal, which we also focus on the contents of CBAs in the metal sector, and bar wage, which will focus mostly on wages, the analysis of wages. Well, as per BARCOVID, from the database point of view, as previously mentioned by Guido, what we want to do is to compare the CBAs that we have already in our database with their renewals post-COVID, to see actually if this COVID pandemic had an impact on the contents of the CBAs. Here, well, in this slide, I mentioned the targets of BARCOVID per country, but I think we can skip it. We can skip this since he'd already talked about it. And as per the challenges and strategies of the project, I think we can already state that finding CBAs renewals is not always easy. Why? Mainly for two reasons. The first is that often CBAs are renewed only after several months and even years after their official expiry date. Another reason is that companies might have closed or changed their core business or merged with other entities. So basically, we will never find the renewals because they actually don't exist. What to do then? What is the strategy of the database? The first, of course, is to periodically double check if there are new recently signed CBAS renewals. And the second strategy is to look for CBAs signed post-COVID and to look also for their predecessors not yet in our system. So basically we work on pairs of CBAs. And this is actually what is happening, especially in Austria, in Italy, and partially also in Spain. And nothing, I would like to conclude the presentation with some special thanks to some colleagues that for their contribution to the WageIndicator collective agreements database, which are Dani, director of the data and of the data WageIndicator, Kea, director of scientific research and WageIndicator, and Jana, University of Utrecht, and also researcher at WageIndicator. And that's it from my side. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks. Thanks, Gabriele. Well done. Cool and interesting. You're really the manager of Cobra, I would say. And